Happening, everybody. All right, today's going to be a dicey one. Today's truth may not be easy, but it is needed. We are watching a rise in ugliness, rhetoric, behavior that is dividing us faster than ever. I had some conversation this weekend and just looked at some. I stepped back and looked at a big picture, saw some different things that made me go, I need to have this conversation with you. Period. It's going to be political. I'm going to warn you, but I do believe that this is something that anybody with a rational mind, whether you are left or right, can agree with and understand the logic behind how ugliness then leads to division and hate. So let's get to it. Like this video, share this video, do all things with this video. I am Anthony Michael Russo from The Daily Truth. It is my pleasure to be here with you today. Do me what I ask of you to do in the beginning. God, my internet today, I see myself being choppy. I'm going to try not to move too much. If I don't move much, it doesn't get choppy. Put in the comments what made you smile today. Give me something that made you smile. I'm being very stiff. I don't want to move too much. Let me know what made you smile. Let me know what you're thinking about today. I woke up next to Woody, snuggling. It's a dog if you don't know me. He was breathing heavy, his snoot in my face. That made me happy immediately from the get-go today. I've had a busy day of calls. I've enjoyed it, even though some of it have been me fighting with companies like HubSpot. HubSpot's a crap company, by the way. If you don't know this, HubSpot sucks. I'm working with one of my clients and trying to renegotiate a contract it is predatory sales at its highest at a higher cost than any other company. If you don't need a full CRM for the marketing perspective, run from HubSpot. Run. Anyways, go ahead and keep liking this. Go ahead and share it. Put in the comments. I get watching Cash's babies made you smile today. Love it. I'll have to check out his videos for the day. Also, I spoke this last weekend at the Firmaglow convention. I bought the opening box on it. I'm looking forward to getting that in the mail. I'm officially a customer and a rep for them. I'll talk more in the future about that. Great products. If you're like me that believes in healthy products and all that good stuff, it's not in any of my links just yet, but I encourage you to ask me any questions. It is a very, very high-end line of hair care and shampoo and serums and all that stuff that is made in a concentrated manner, and they're great products, but I'll get into that later. If you are a fan of my Make Wellness daily obligatory, look at the size of those cannons. That should make you smile. Go to my Make Wellness page. That is at my Instagram, at Anthony Michael Russo. The links are in the bio. If you have questions, hit me up with a message on that. Aside from that, I've got gear on there. Use Truth for 20% off at checkout. Whole bunch of stuff. Today's going to be a serious conversation, though, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, like this video, share it, do all the things with it, put some comments, let me know where you're watching from. I encourage you to hear this semi-political unity building message because I think it's important to hear, and it is regarding a couple different topics. It's involving race, and it's involving the anti-Semitism movement that is growing by the day. So to give the framework and the preface, anti-Semitism is growing again, and it is growing loudly. For those that don't believe that, I don't know what planet you're living on, or you're one of the people that are actually saying these things. And this hate is coming from the left and the right, the far right, and it includes Christians and Christianity. So now I've seen Jewish communities that are starting to turn back on Christians because of the hate that they are facing. And honestly, I don't condone it, but I understand it. One of my great friends that I met with this weekend is Jewish. And if you don't know me, I am by history, by ethnicity, I'm half Jewish. My family is Jewish on my mom's side. So I although Christian myself, I do consider myself to have background as a Jew. And I look at what's going on right now, and I get that people are angry about Israel and Gaza. And I look at my buddy that is Jewish, and he's having this conversation that he's just so disenfranchised with Christians, seeing people that are on the far right, influencers especially, People like Ian Smith that I used to respect on a lot of different levels he's not against the country of Israel. He is literally anti-Semitic and hates Jewish people at this point. And what that does is it creates, and if you're a Christian and you want to bring people into the fold and you want to evangelize, that whole belief system, when you start to get far right radical on your beliefs, or what is also now considered far left, will make somebody disgusted that is, say, Jewish, disgusted to even kind of have to be associated with Christian themes. And I asked a question when he talked about something in a workout group that he's in, and it just got to be too Christian, and something happened about it. And I'm like, I make you a bet 2 years ago, you'd have been completely fine with that, what they did, like the exercise, because it's just like, it's faith. It's everybody has. But now, because of the things that we get brought, when what we see, which causes so much hate and frustration, all of a sudden that division builds and that anger builds. It creates more hate. And I want to get into the fact that I get what's going on, but Israel is a nation, Judaism is a religion, Jews are people, Israel is a government. If you want to start to compare corruption and government, as somebody that loves America, I can tell you, Israel is a corrupt country. So is America. Hamas is a terrorist organization. I don't know how difficult this is to understand. And right now we are playing a propaganda game in the Middle East that somehow the Palestinians are winning. And again, Palestinians are people just like Jews are people. So I respect them. I have care for them. And I understand that in this war, there's a lot of ugliness happening to both sides. Now, I've never seen, if you go back to October 7th and what happened to 1,500 approximate Jewish people or people in Israel, I've never seen the narrative shift so quickly where they went from being the victim to, because they retaliated, somehow being a genocidal nation. It's wild to me that they were able to shift that narrative so fast. If 1,500 people in the United States of America were murdered by one nation, we would wipe them off the face of the universe, and our country would say, that's what we're supposed to do. So it was already confusing that happened. And then now you look at what's going on, and I watch a lot, and there's a lot of people that I respect very much that kind of cover both sides and cover how some of the bad stuff that Israel is doing, aggressive stuff that Israel is doing, is I think what I'll say. It's not just a human war zone. It is a propaganda war zone. Everyone is being manipulated by fear, emotion, and half-truths. And the biggest truth that I can tell you right now about what's happening there is we don't fully know. What we know is what they show us. I mean, for goodness sakes, there's been a campaign for weeks, months, saying that Israelis are starving the Gazan people. And then finally, some people are getting in there showing their angle of how the UN has all this food rotting outside. There's video after video of this saying that the food has been provided and the UN is not giving it. Is it the UN? And then you've got trucks of the Hamas essentially stealing from their own people, which is what the Israelis and Jewish people have said from the very beginning. So there's a lot to it. And even my friend that is Jewish understands that you don't have to hook, line, and sinker believe everything Israel is doing, or even think that the United States should be funding their war. But to blatantly hate Israel is gross, and it's anti-Semitic in many ways. So don't blindly think that you know what's going on because a couple influencers have told you, or a couple videos. With the Gazans starving out there, it's very interesting. The angles of video, first off, there's very little footage in 2025 where everything is documented of the atrocities to the Gazans compared to what we would think if all this is happening. The starvation is I've seen the people begging for food, and it's an interesting camera angle in many ways. Not to say that I don't believe that it's happening, but I don't know why it's happening. So I just want people to take a step back and understand that the all of a sudden very anti-Semitic hate, like look at Dave Portnoy, who is going to be on Fox Big Noon Kickoff. I see people in the comments like, why would you hire that Jew? Oh, I hate these Jews. It's like, did we just skip back to the 1940s? Like, how did we get here? Like, we are letting history repeat itself when it came to the Holocaust. This kind of propaganda is what led to it. And again, these are Jewish people living in America that for some odd reason we are choosing a nation that is pumping out whatever information that they want us to believe. And we are choosing them over our own Jewish citizens that are in America. That's causing the hate from Jewish people to hate then Christians. It's not okay. It's not good. On the other side, not on the other side, but I kind of give my belief system on that. And again, it is just a belief system because it's above all of our pay grades. There's also the idea that we've begun celebrating behavior that just a few years ago we would call shameful. Well, the bulk of rational people would call shameful on both sides. When society glorifies chaos, the reaction is always extremism. If you think that you are being progressive, but you're pushing people to become more racist, angry, and tribal, then you have to take some responsibility and part of the problem. What I'm going to bring up here is a couple specific posts, but one major one, which I think was done by Black Wall Street, that was showing the fight that happened a couple of years ago at the cruise line where the white guy and the black guy got into a one-on-one fight and people tried to break it up, which is very different than what we saw in the Cincinnati fight. If you've seen that, where it was 10, 20, then 30 people and a few white people try to get away, just getting destroyed and not fight. There was no fight. They were just getting beat down. And people qualifying that behavior. Like, about time we rose up. Like, rose up against what? Some people leaving a restaurant? And then you've got this video that was saying that this is the greatest moment. Should be a new moment of pride. When they replayed that video, if anybody remembers, where the black guys swam across the little bit of water and they came and then they beat up, they start beating up on the white guys. That if there was one white guy that piled on in the very beginning and tried to add into the fight while other, and I'm using races, where other white people were trying to break it up. Again, the complete opposite of what we've seen in Cincinnati and some other videos that are out there. And I had dinner with a friend of mine that knows that I'm not racist about 2 weeks ago or a week ago when we had this exact conversation where he's like, this happens also in other places to black people. I'm like, it's 2025. I hate to say this. I need to see video evidence that this is the way that the world is right now because everybody's got their cameras out. So let me see the equal. And the equal is really this whole thing that happened at the cruise line. And it was a matter of a gigantic brawl. And yes, the group of African Americans or black people, they won the fight. But fact is, they were all acting. The white people and the black people were acting like idiots. This is not a moment of pride for anyone. Acting like idiots should not be prideful. Should not be the moment you go, this is what I'm showing my children. So when you glorify low-level behavior, when you glorify what happened to those people in Cincinnati and say, well, they got what they deserve, the long-term ramification of that is racism. The pendulum eventually swings back. If people get angry enough and people feel that it's ugly enough, that's why racism still exists. Does racism still exist today? People ask me that question. Absolutely. There's white people that still think less of black people, and there's black people that hate white people. The only way that quells is by utilizing the thought process that we are evolving as human beings, and none of these behaviors are good. We cannot keep pretending that our cultural choices don't shape the next generation. What we tolerate today, we'll normalize tomorrow and weaponize after. I just saw a drag show on video at elementary school in Washington State. Yes, a drag show in Washington State for children, still going on. And this was raunchy. And to have that kind of idiocy in front of children is going to, it swings the pendulum so far in the other direction. I firmly believe in accepting all people's choices with their sexuality, their relationships, whatever that might be. I am not anti-gay. I am not anti-trans. I am pro-gay marriage. Do what you want to do. I believe that this is where we should be as a society. Again, my belief system. But the reason you get people to go backwards on that, when you start to say, I don't know how I feel about gay people, I don't know how I feel about trans people, it's because that kind of behavior where you've got drag queens in thongs and chest hair and fake wigs in front of a child shaking their money makers and qualifying that as okay and not predatory, you then start to build hate in the other direction. Hate is contagious. And as much as I don't want to say this, sometimes it's qualified. What's interesting is love is also contagious. So start to choose wisely. Love comes from logic. Love comes from common sense. Love comes from kindness. Because what you support, celebrate, or excuse today, it's going to have drastic consequences tomorrow. Remember that what we glorify today becomes our crisis in the future. So today's truth isn't comfortable, but it is very real. Ugliness creates hate. Hate creates division. That's what I got for you guys. So touch on a lot of topics. Talked about anti-Semitism, Judaism. Talked about the idea that we should not be glorifying fighting. It makes, if it's coming predominantly from one group, it's going to make people feel racist. Again, we don't want that. And also in terms of the sexuality culture, stay away from children. It's very simple. These 3 pillars will lead us to a better society. Sounds difficult, should be simple. Hey, tonight, guys, is my last, my second last, or probably second to last. I'm going to do next 2 weeks. It seems like we're getting something in place where my Wednesday night workshop, Toastmasters on Steroids, is going to actually come with a fee. So these are my last 2 free ones. If you would like to join, make sure I see you this evening, 6 p.m. Central. Go to doubledownspeaking.com. Also want to talk about that boot camp coming up. Speaking Boot Camp will be with us on August 23rd. So what is that? It's less than 3 weeks away, guys. Make sure you sign up. If you have questions about it, please let me know. My whole 8-week course grouped into one day. Gets your story together. Lots of group work. How to sell without sounding salesy, all the different things, and how to find your voice and transform. Come to that. Now is the time to do it. And if you like it so much, you want to do the 8-week course with me, whatever you spend on that class will go into that 8-week course, where it is a little bit more one-on-one. It's a small group, and it is a lot of interaction between me and Henry. So that's what I got for you guys. God bless. Have a great rest of your day. I know I went a little bit long. It's an important topic. I try not to get political too often anymore, but when I see something where I'm seeing hate build, I'd like to play the middle ground on it. And I also like to discuss how to make things better. Again, all my opinion, just my belief system on how to make the world a better place. God bless, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Don't surrender your pets. Don't be a garbage human being. Last thing, New York City, stop with the horse carriages. There's a horse that just died, middle of the street, overheated. We're good. Let's go ahead and ban that. Thanks, guys.